Alright, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon. Let's talk about the new Terminus Decree lore that was recently released. In the new Grey Knights Codex, we ended up getting some pretty juicy lore information about the Terminus Decree. Previously, it was surrounded in mystery, nobody knew what it was. All that it was is that there was a small box that was in the Grey Knights' possession that had and contained the Terminus Decree, only to be opened by the Supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights, and of course, like many of the stuff of lore within 40k, when the Imperium needs it most, or when it's the most dire. But recently, as I said, we got a more in-depth look as to what the Terminus Decree is, and I have to be honest, I'm not the most pleased about it. Not that I hate it, nor do I think it's like lazy writing or anything of the sort. I'm just personally not a fan of it. I kind of wish it was something different, or more preferably, I wish that they never told us what it was. But I'm stalling. The new lore for the Terminus Decree pretty much states that the Grey Knights are to go on and make sure that the Emperor stays on the Golden Throne. Not in the way that one might think that should the Emperor end up being removed from the Golden Throne forcefully, but rather should the Emperor be resurrected and should he want to leave the Golden Throne, or should he just leave the Golden Throne altogether? Despite the Emperor being the master of mankind, the Grey Knights have been given the order to, by any means necessary, make sure that he doesn't leave from his glorious Golden Throne. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that. One of the reasons being is that I kind of feel like the Emperor coming back would be something absolutely glorious for the Imperium. Mind you, him leaving the Golden Throne would have a lot of different repercussions, but nonetheless, having the Emperor back as a whole, I don't know what more magnificent thing could happen for the Imperium. Not to mention, I couldn't imagine the Grey Knights going up against all the Custodes as well as whatever other guards are there to protect the Emperor. But they've been given this order with the 100% belief that they have the ability to do it, or should they be able to execute it at all. Personally, I also think that this lore was included as kind of a shock factor. Not that it isn't juicy or anything like that, I just think that it was more so for shock rather than for lore purposes. But I could totally be wrong. 100%, that's just my opinion. Because what is more shocking than the Grey Knights of all individuals to have to go back to Terra and forcefully try to put the Emperor back on the Golden Throne? But then again, I saw multiple theories, and some of my friends have also been talking about a handful of theories, one of which, my most favorite, is the following. Could you imagine for just but a moment that the Emperor, who was offered 1,000 psychers a day as a sacrifice, all of a sudden has 1,000 of some of the most potent psychers in all the Imperium, being the Grey Knights? Would this be a beautiful pick-me-up, a wake-up coffee, if you will, to rebolster his energy and bring him back to full strength, or at least a step in the right direction? I truthfully don't know. But this is one of the many theories that I've come across, and just one of the ones that sparked my interest the most. Because again, overall, I'm not saying that this piece of lore information is bad, it's just not my favorite, and I really do sometimes prefer if things go unanswered. Just leave it up to assumptions. But let me know what you guys think, if you guys really enjoy this lore and the steps that GW is taking for the progression of the Grey Knights' involvement. Do you think that this could be something bigger under the surface, or is it just some shock factor? But with that being said, thank you as always, guys, for listening, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Drop a comment if there's anything you guys want to hear about next, and as always, remember to follow for more.